Hi, I'm Tim O'Malley. I'm CEO of Ateema Media and Marketing. Thank you for coming to our first Planner Masterclass of 2021. Hopefully we'll be doing a lot more in-person events soon. So I would like to give a special thank you to our title sponsor, Garrett Popcorn and Jack Aiello for their continued support and for sending our attendees Garrett Popcorn and Frango Mints. I'd also like to thank Comedy Sports for hosting today's event, and a special thank you to Dana Mallow from Live Art International for sending the hand sanitizer kits to you. So welcome. We're honored to have such a top-notch group of meeting and event planners, venues, and suppliers represented here today. A little bit about Ateema Media and Marketing and the Planner Masterclass. So I started Ateema in Chicago 20 years ago. Crazy, it's been 20 years. As a tourism marketing business. And we have a magazine called Concierge Preferred and produce an industry trade show called the Hospitality and Tourism Summit, which many of you have attended. And in a minute, I'm going to tell you about our upcoming 20th annual event. But in short, today's event, the Planner Masterclass, came out of research from the summit. Planners told us that they needed more networking and educational opportunities. So that's what we set out to deliver, and Planner Masterclass was born. So we've been producing these events over the last few years. And at this point, we've produced nearly 20 masterclasses, including a bunch virtually and one in San Francisco. So based upon planner input, I can tell you a few of the principles that we built this event around. So one was a dominant ratio of planners to vendors. Planners wanted to connect with each other and discuss important industry trends, tactics, resources, and best practices. Planners also told us that they wanted to learn in an engaging and intimate manner. They told us that they wanted the ability to get CMP credits and that they wanted to meet quality suppliers. So given the tumultuous year in our industry, we believe that the value of Planner Masterclass right now is simply bringing people together to grow and rebuild networks as people are starting to now sign contracts for the in-person events coming up later this year. So you can see today, the audience of planners is a mix of all different types of meeting and event planners. So the goal is to create a great blend of perspectives to enable terrific conversations and networking opportunities for everyone. So we hope you learn some new tactics, you walk away with some great ideas, and enjoy meeting your peers and some outstanding new suppliers. Our agenda today is pretty straightforward. Again, welcome. And in a few minutes, we will kick off the afternoon with an introduction of our MC, Pat Conley from Comedy Sports. Then he'll introduce our featured presentation from Matt Waltersdorf and Allison and Hines from NHS Global Events. They've got a great presentation put together for us. And from there, we'll rotate between our virtual roundtables, our discussions, and our sponsor presentations. And finally, we hope that you can stay for the networking session at the end, where we'll have some fun with our friends at Comedy Sports, and you'll get a chance to talk to other planners and today's sponsors. Hopefully you brought along a cocktail for yourself for you to enjoy as well. So we simply couldn't provide opportunities for the planner community without the support of these generous businesses. Again, I'd like to give a special shout out to our title sponsor, Garrett Popcorn and Jack, for their continued support and for sending our attendees Garrett Popcorn and the Frango Mints. You can see I'm a little excited about that. I'd also like to thank Comedy Sports again for hosting today's events. And Dana Mallow, thank you so much from Live Art International for shipping our attendees gift boxes with the hand sanitizer kits. So I'd also like to thank Maggie Daly Park, Expo Pass, Blue Man Group, the Old Post Office, NHS Global Events, and Fogo de Chão. We're so fortunate to have some of Chicago's iconic brands here with us today. And again, thank you so much for your gracious support. So, Dylan, next slide, please. I'm really excited to share an announcement with you. You are literally the first group to hear this. We are producing our 20th annual Hospitality and Tourism Summit on Tuesday, June 8th at Navy Pier's Aon Grand Ballroom, the Rec Building, which is the adjacent building just west of the Grand Ballroom, and the Lakeview Terrace and the East End Plaza. So in total, there will be more social distancing than any planner could want, with occupancy capable of handling over 11,000 attendees. So yeah, 11,000 attendees, and we're gonna need about 1,500 attendees. So significantly less attendance. So there's plenty of social distancing and a very, very safe environment for everyone. We're also working hard to partner with a couple of well-known industry companies for safety and cleanliness purposes. And if you haven't been there, basically it's where the industry connects prior to the busy summer season. We're in our 20th year. There'll be a trade show featuring 100+ exhibitor booths, food and drink sampling from some of Chicago's favorites. It's an efficient way to rebuild your network post-COVID with the who's who in the industry. New this year, we'll have 6 to 8 virtual educational sessions during the weeks leading up to June 8th to learn the latest trends and research, share ideas and thoughts, etc. And you also have the ability to earn CE credits for your CMP designation. This year, a new addition that we're really excited about, and we think you will be too, because frankly, we got the idea from planners. This year will include an entertainment showcase for you to see bands, magicians, speakers, MCs, artists, even comedians. So it's going to be a fun day, lots of excitement and lots of introductions and connections, and a great way to build your business. So at this point, I'd like to share a quick video. Dylan, can you share the 2-minute video?
Everybody in the Chicago hospitality industry looks forward to this event every year. So any exhibitor, I would highly suggest that they come.
It's great to have the industry come together, celebrate our successes, but also talk about and create opportunities for future success and growth.
Because it's efficient, and it's a great way for us to see our top friends and contacts and colleagues. And they have a wonderful panel of industry leaders that we really enjoy hearing from, to hear about what's coming up in Chicago and in the tourism scene.
You see all of the cultural professionals from around Chicago, museums, theaters, music groups. These are the influencers of Chicago. So if you want to be known, you got to be in front of them.
There's a really amazing opportunity to network with businesses, concierges, everybody in the hospitality industry, really.
This is my first time at the event. I saw it as a great opportunity to network with local Chicago vendors and people that I've seen in passing networking events, and now I get a chance to meet in person.
You know, having the Concierge Preferred Trade Show here for 17 years at Navy Pier has been a great experience, because every year you see new faces and you love seeing people from different backgrounds within the concierge community, and you know, you're getting to know somebody on a more personal level, and the fact that, you know, Navy Pier has a booth here, it's a no-brainer.
Whether it be in a restaurant or an event venue, or just, you know, all of the different offerings that Chicago has, comedy shows, sports. So it's a really good chance to make those connections and then get inspired too.
This is my 14th year having a booth at the Concierge Preferred Trade Show. It's a great way to meet a lot of concierge and other hospitality folks at one time in one day versus having to make several visits to see people.
Everybody here is very professional. They're out to learn a lot about what you have, and if you're going to do it, you should really, you're going to step up to the plate, you got to swing for the bleachers. This is a great place to do that.
You know, the value is immense.
Seeing the right people in a well-curated environment. We come back each year because we've had a great experience. Operationally, it's a really well-run trade show, and it's a lot of fun.
Okay, mark your calendars, June 8th. You'll hear a lot more from us with details. So I'd like to get back to today's Planner Masterclass. I already mentioned the sponsors, but I want to introduce you to their representatives so you can connect with them, and if you'd like, thank them for their generosity. Sorry. Okay, so again, Jack Aiello with Garrett Brands, and Misty as well with Garrett Brands. Welcome, guys. Pad from Comedy Sports, thank you again for your help. Sean Lynch with NHS Global Events. Patrick Kennedy with Fogo de Chão. Jamie Selsky with the Old Post Office. Dana Mallow with Live Art International. Kristen Doss from Blue Man Group. Rochelle Brophy with Maggie Daly Park. And Mark Dunlap with Expo. Thank you so much for all your support and for being here today. With that, I'm going to hand this over to a professional. So Patrick Conley has been performing, writing, and teaching comedy in Chicago since 2001. He's an original cast member of the long-running hit show World News Tonight and the former artistic director of Comedy Sports Chicago. He's also a writer and a creative consultant for corporate events and conventions across the country. So his quarantine binges have included all the Marvel movies, again, and the entirety of the Great British Baking Show. Again, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our host, Pat Conley.
Hi, thank you so much, Tim. My name is Patrick Conley, and I'm the creative director for Comedy Sports Chicago. And it's not going to be just me hosting today. I'd also like to introduce one of my cohorts in comedy. So this will be Nicole Devon. And Nicole and I were both hired on the exact same day in 2012 at Comedy Sports. Nicole's been performing professionally for over 17 years and can be regularly seen playing with Comedy Sports on Twitch TV. In addition to performing and hosting, Nicole also facilitates communications workshops within the medical and corporate worlds. And her quarantine binges have included Downton Abbey, The Boys, and of course, a lot of popcorn. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you so much, Pat. I got a Whirly Pop for Christmas, and it's the best gift I ever received. I've made so much popcorn. I can't recommend it enough. So like Pat mentioned, we are from the CSE Theater. We have been doing a comedy show for everyone for over 30 years, meaning whether you're 2 or 200 years old, you can come see our show. But I think we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. Am I right, Pat?
Absolutely. Now we would like to pass it over to Jack Aiello from Garrett Brands to take over the screen. So Jack, everyone please give a warm welcome to Jack Aiello.
Speaking of great popcorn.
Yes.
Let's hear about it.
Great segue.
Jack, are you on mute again?
Don't worry, this is exactly the same thing I do for every Zoom call I have ever been on.
Same.
All right.
Dylan, why don't we move on to the next slide and we'll come back to Jack. How's that?
Certainly, if that's all right, we can go on to the next presenter and just switch up the order there. We're happy with that.
That's great. Thank you.
So if hopefully Matt and Allison are ready, but we would like to introduce our next presenters, which are they are from NHS Global Events. And our first speaker from NHS Global Events is going to be Allison Hines, their meeting and event planner. Allison is a graduate of Bowling Green State University, where she studied marketing and international business. Allison discovered her love of travel while visiting 19 countries during her semester abroad in France, and now strives to visit a different country every single year. Allison cherishes her ability to connect with others and lives to listen and get to know everyone she interacts with. Outgoing and positive, Allison is active in MPI and currently serves on the MPI Chicago Area Chapter Board of Directors.
And we're also going to hear from Matt Waltersdorf, who's the Director of Global Accounts. Matt joined NHS Global Events after spending over a decade in the hospitality industry with Caesars Entertainment Corporation, Starwood Hotels and Resorts, and Visit Phoenix. Matt loves gaining experience through his travels and learning something from everyone he meets. With his significant interpersonal relationship skills, Matt is truly a superlative player in the meetings and event industry. Welcome to Matt and Allison.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pat and Nicole. And welcome everyone. Good afternoon. Oh, sorry. I'm too ahead of myself. Go ahead, Dylan.
I feel like I'm all messed up. I'm sorry because of the changing of order. Sorry. Let me spotlight you guys. Allison, is Matt still with us? I don't see him on.
You know what? He just told me his computer just crashed. So
Oh, that's
no,
yeah.
we're full of tricks.
That's so funny.
Today.
We practiced earlier and we were fine. Okay, this is like a lot of things going wrong at once. Let's roll with it, Allison.
All right. Perfect. Do you want to do the video first or just have me keep going? Video.
We believe in the power of the face-to-face meeting. And whether that's a meeting for 3 or an event for 3,000, we believe it should be nothing less than an experience. So we cover all the bases with experts who work on your behalf to unlock value and maximize every moment of your agenda. For corporate meetings and events, associations, incentives, and trade shows. Let's make it unique. Let's make it memorable. Let's make it an experience.
All right, you know what? Matt is back on track. Thank goodness for iPads, computers, phones. We're teed into a digital world, but what better reason to start talking about face-to-face meetings, because we're all done with this digital nonsense. So with further ado, welcome to our session, moving from virtual back to face-to-face live meetings, planning for safe meetings and events. My name is Allison Hines, and I'm a meeting and event planner at NHS Global Events. And now I'm going to pass it over to my colleague and co-presenter, Matt Waltersdorf.
Hi, everybody. Sure enough, 10 seconds before computer crashes. So iPad, we switched to all the different screens that we have. So can't wait to get back to face-to-face meetings. I just want to introduce myself again. My name is Matt Waltersdorf. I'm with NHS Global Events, and I am the Director of Global Accounts. Simply put, I find solutions for our clients, and I'm just happy to be here today. I want to thank Ateema again for putting together great content as we are in a very much a digital age. And I am just happy and proud to be here with you all today. A couple housekeeping notes. This presentation will be shared with the entire group. We have our colleague, Brian, who is going to be helping support our chat box. So keep an eye on that. Allison and I are asking for your engagement a little bit later on in our presentation. So get excited, get ready for that. And over to you, Allison, to share our key objectives, please.
Yeah, so our key objectives today are to share procedures specific to planning and executing healthy and safe meetings in 2021. For today's purpose, we're just going to focus on face-to-face meetings. If we had a 3-hour presentation, we'd include the hybrid element, but we only have 30 minutes with you all. So keep all those questions and thoughts out of your head and just go back to face-to-face, as hard as it might be. And then also we're going to touch on where to start once you decided to host your face-to-face meeting. At NHS Global Events, this begins with creating our events playbook. To give you a glimpse into it, the events playbook is an expectation manager for communications throughout the planning and execution process. Finally, we're going to share some online resources that have been at the top of our search history here at NHS Global Events. And nowhere better to start than with the known. These are practices that hotels, businesses, yep, we're back on the right one. Thank you.
Sorry, my mouse was messed up.
No, you're all good. The type of procedures that have been identified and required by hotels, facilities, places, and businesses in order to keep people safe. If you attended the last masterclass, attendees actually identified 20 best practices for safe in-person meetings and events. The 6 that we have on the screen are just a few, and we're going to dive into a little deeper of how we can expand and see the different layers on those. Now, I did just mention 20 new best practices to implement, and I don't want your head to explode quite yet. I know as a meeting planner, my first thought is, okay, you have 20 new things I need to do on top of the million other things I need to do to make an event happen itself. But I just want everyone to take a deep breath and know that when reviewing these known procedures, as we're calling them, it's important to ask yourself and your team, your stakeholders, what is the goal and purpose of my event? What are my attendee demographics? What are our attendee behaviors? What's my budget? As this will help guide you in which unknown procedures to invest more time, manpower, and money in. We all need to be realistic on how far we can stretch the budget and the team. So for one, mandatory masks. Sounds easy. We've lived through 2020, we're into 2021 now, and everyone's wearing masks. It's become kind of the norm, the known. But to think through that is, what if someone forgets their mask? What if it rips? What if, you know, it's basically the new name badge, the way I'm thinking about it. So when you come to masks, make sure you're thinking, do I have extra registration? Do I need them in front of the trade show floor? Do I need them at the general session? Temperature checks. That's also something very easy, you think no brainer. Okay, what if your thermometer fails? Just like your computer crashes. What are you gonna do? Do you have a backup? Are you ready for those contingency plans? Now moving on to the name badges, this is a great way to highlight social distancing preferences. This can be done by ribbons, stickers, or you can even do wristbands, because you want to make sure that everyone feels safe, and a name badge is kind of the first thing I know I look for, or attendees might look for at a meeting. So figuring out ways to incorporate those new procedures that are the norm now is a great way to do. Also, one of our colleagues just did a site visit in Phoenix this last week, and she shared a really cool idea with us. The hotel CSM actually had a button on with her face. Now, I think we've seen this more in the medical world, but it's a great way to add a human aspect back into the meeting world itself too. With the mask, you only can see half the face, so why not have that button with your face on it? Now, you could do this for a large scale, but might work better for a smaller incentive or board meeting, or for people who need to make those connections. Really, the thing that we're trying to emphasize is make it fun. Get creative. Another thing too to note, floor clings. They're not just for sponsorship anymore. As much as we'd like to get those dollars in, and it's a great way to do so, they also can be designed to help with those directional or physical distancing. And also don't have to always break the bank with these ideas. Those can be done basically through just using painter's tape. It doesn't have to be, you know, that nice printed floor cling that we're all thinking of immediately. Now that we've had these hiccups, I feel like we're all awake. Matt, are you still with me? Hopefully, I hope the iPad didn't crash. Because in the next 5 seconds, we're going to share with you a picture. And we want everyone to get into that chat box, bring it up, and put in there what you think of when you first see these photos, or this photo. Is it good, bad, you know, could have done better, what could have done better, phrase, anything like that. So Dylan, if you could share that photo, and everyone start chatting away.
Allison, I am still here. The iPod is the good old trusty.
That's good to hear, Matt. Got a little nervous when it was just me. All right, okay, perfect. Thanks. Keep going, everybody.
Too close. Shorts? Question mark? Yes.
So I also don't know. Matt lives in Arizona, so he's attending events that are not outside. Or who are outside? Sorry, Matt. I'll let you go.
So this was actually taken just a week or two ago. I was at an event, and it was posted in the chat box. So vague, no directions. They're in the wrong place. So Allison and I wanted to showcase this is a portrayal of somebody trying to put together a great plan, great thought. You have floor clings, stanchions. You're having them 6 feet apart. But then the execution really wasn't there. So it's as simply as putting together, okay, how are the rope and stanchions? Are they going to allow a good flow? And then if your budget allows, having attendee care person there to help direct and put people into place. So again, this is just something we wanted to quick show. The thought was in the right place, but it just did not hit on the execution. So on our next slide, we're going to try this one more time. So engagement number 2, we'll click over to the next slide and throw in a quick one-word phrase or one word. And Allison, over to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna let them come in a little bit. Safe, good. Eek, terrifying, no buffets. Okay, interesting point on that. Self-serve, ew. Individually packaged. Okay, we got an unsafe. Safe on left, no buffets. Run, well done. So you got a mixed bag coming in on this one. Everything has to be individually packaged. Allergies, plexiglass. All right, awesome. Safe on left. Keep it coming, guys. Would not do buffet. Okay. Interesting notes on this one. A little bit more of a mixed bag. The one on the left, this is actually an example from a PM break, and we like to, I hope people agree, like to point out that it has an excellent use of a prepackaged break. So this could either be picked up and walked away from, or it could be delivered to a table or a seat, and people will come back into the room once it's been sanitized and clear. So a great option there. Also gives you options with making it one actual piece. Now the one on the right is a meal function, and we think that this is doing a pretty good job. This is with there's no attendees, and the camera's almost in the attendee view. So you can see that the servers are masked, wearing gloves, and they are the ones plating and putting out the individual portions for those to take. So the plate and then the smaller bottles, such like that. So there's no self-serve in this photo, and it's kind of hard to depict in a picture if we only had a video to show the process. But we kind of view these as good options, or, you know, better off ones than the previous photo that we were watching. All right, and now as procedures are ever evolving within the meetings world, and even more so in 2021, I'm going to turn it back over to Matt to talk about the ever evolving components of planning a safe meeting in 2021. Matt, back to you.
Yes, thanks, Allison. So this is a topic that is just really super interesting to me. And again, going back to finding solutions, this is where I think that our industry is really kind of just watching, waiting, and seeing how things are evolving. So with contactless interaction, so use this as an opportunity to go green if you haven't already done so for your organization. Don't let the pandemic go to waste. So find the silver lining. Is there a way that you can send out registration packets to individuals prior to? With registration, you oftentimes have a swag bag. So send that out in advance. When attendees are coming to events, have everything laid out on the table. We understand that when you're in a higher number, that might not be possible. When taking a look at new tech that's out there, it allows for a connection to be made in an expo booth, and a supplier can follow up with branded gifts and information. One provider out there actually has your cell phone where you walk up to each other and you do a little handshake. So again, contactless interaction. So you're making that connection with the information, and that individual can follow up with gifts or information after that program. So what are different ways that we can evaluate and make sure that we're meeting in a safe manner? Last week, it was great news. We saw Magic, which is a clothing trade show that operated, and normally it's around 70,000 people. It went to a realm of about 2,500 people. So they adapted and they did rapid tests prior to attendees all entering into the show floor. They wanted to ensure that the attendees felt safe. So these are areas where we see that attendees, you're able to test, rapid test prior to, you walk through the thermal reader, and again, contactless, and you're entering into that show or event. Health passports. Travel Weekly just recently posted an article that speaks to a good health pass collaborative, which is in its initial phase, but its goal is to create a blueprint for interoperable, say that 5 times fast, interoperable digital health pass systems. So when you're taking a look at it, it's saying, how are we putting together all of these different players and making sure that they're all valid, safe, encrypted, and we're finding a good universal system. Geo mapping, this was introduced pre-pandemic, and it was done really kind of in a marketing format. So now with this advanced technology, it's offering, in addition to just that marketing component, understanding where the heat map is showing the attendees are going to, either on an expo floor or just in breakout sessions. Are they attending sessions? But now it's able to offer that instant contact tracing during an event. You also have the analytics for post-event to reach out to specific individuals that might have been in an exposure in a specific room or a specific booth. That way you're not putting out a mass email to your entire group. You can have that analytic and that data to be able to send out to, again, that specific group. When we're taking a look at the social science, it's considering the human truths. So for the desire to belong to a community. So at what age did we have this inherent need to connect? So I had a case study that naturally presented itself last week, and it was with my 3-year-old son. So James and I are having a discussion, and he's talking about best friends that he's going to play with out on the playground. And one classmate wasn't going to be there, so he's going to find a new best friend. And I thought, I want to observe this. So, he goes there part-time to preschool, and I drop him off, and I observe, and I hear 2 other kids talking about best friends. Do you want to be my best friend on the playground? So automatically it gravitated me to thinking about, how do we connect when we go to events? And, I might reach out to Allison and say, hey, Allison, do you want to get a cup of coffee before we hit the show floor? Or, hey, Dylan, do you want to get dinner after that reception tonight? So it's, again, finding that friend. And the reason we bring it up is that 2020, it was so unique, and you have that large spectrum of attendees. And we want to almost put yourself, remember that first day of school when you had those range of emotions. So as an event owner, how are we providing a community for our participants to feel they belong and they are connected? So consider a digital pre-con for your attendees the week prior to cover high-level details of expectations, of conduct, and it allows for any questions or concerns to be addressed. So on the next slide, we're going to share just a couple of providers that are part of the procedures that are ever evolving. So when we talk about the geo-mapping, Volan has some really neat technology that you can place either in your meeting space. You can also work with your hotel or facility providers and put it in some common spaces as well. Again, it focuses in on that contact tracing. So a couple of providers in the health pass space, you've got Verify or Clear that are really identifying ways that they can move into not just the airports, but into the event space, or they are in some of the universities helping students to meet safely. So again, there's a big transition of how we are taking technology and we're inputting that into the events. So just like the hotels, when you have the major brands like your Marriott, Hilton, Hyatt, Accor, you're seeing a lot of evolving, emerging players in this market. So with additional procedures comes additional procurement. So how are we as event owners organizing ourselves and investing the time in the evolving procedures? So taking a little bit more of a deep dive, Allison, I'd like to turn it back over to you to talk about the event playbook that we utilize.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. With all those wonderful options, it's gonna, if you're not overwhelmed yet, we're gonna bring you back down to earth. So this is the way that we take all these options. You look at everything that's out in the marketplace and figure out what is actually going to happen, how it's going to happen, everything. Our events playbook is our one-stop shop for all our planning and execution needs of the meeting. This is something that NHS Global Events has been doing for years. We do implement it with all our meeting management clients, and it is the best thing. It's customizable. It doesn't matter the size, the attendee type, association, corporate, anything that you need, we can make that fit into it. And so when 2020 happened and we went into a pandemic world, it was an easy, fix to put it right into there. And that what we came up with out of this was the attendee care. So it's a broad spectrum idea that can be really implemented in a lot of different ways. So attendee care came out of this, first came up with one of our technology user group clients that has over 1,000 attendees each year. So how do you take a 1,000-person event and make it safe? Where do you even start? So the goal was to research or determine a team to research, develop, and execute all the elements of an important health and safe meeting for the attendees, stakeholders, exhibitors, and suppliers, because it really does touch every element and experience within the event, pre, during, and post. So this was kind of our place that we created this document to ask all the questions that we needed from our vendors. We asked all the questions that our attendees might have, our stakeholders might have. And then we figured out how we're going to communicate this. So now, if you don't have a event partner like us to work with you, this could be done also through your association or corporation and creating this COVID response team. We've seen this with other clients that we work with, and they've created just a small core group to help make these decisions in an effective and efficient way that need to happen. Because with all the options that Matt is giving and all the known procedures and protocols, there's so much to wrap your head around. And with the attendee care, that kind of goes into also the duty of care that you have for your attendees, your vendors, yourselves, really everyone at the meeting itself. You know, this has been thought of too, if on site, not only the planning of it, but when you're actually at your meeting, who's gonna be that designated COVID team member? Who's gonna go to that attendee who might have that temperature spike, who's not wearing their mask correctly, you know, who just might need to be talked to. And you wanna make sure you identify that person so that you keep the whole event safe and secure. And then also when it comes to the event playbook, it is also a place that you could create those timelines, what needs to be addressed, when and where and how. And this also can be shared with the stakeholders so everyone kind of knows what is involved. And then another thing that really did pop up more this last year and into this year is the contingency plans. We had an example, we have one group that really wants to have a band no matter where they go. And it's not just a band that's in that city, it's a band from the city at home. So now this goes into what you need to do to make that happen and what were your important parts of your meeting. So when you think about flying a band in, do you have them get that test beforehand? Do you have them do the rapid test when they get there? What if the lead singer is not able to attend anymore? What's the backup? Do you have a DJ in place or a band in place in that event area? Or what are you gonna do? This could really happen for any aspect of the meeting, a meeting planner, a speaker, anything that could pop up. So it's having those contingency plans, those backup plans. And then this is also, like I said, the one main place that you go. So if someone isn't able to attend or if someone needs to jump in and assist, this is the document that they can look at to be able to answer all those questions. And if anyone has more questions about that too, we can answer those in the breakouts. And then also, I'm going to now turn it back over to Matt to talk about some resources that we found that can really help make the planning smoother. Matt, back to you.
Thanks, Allison. So these are just some of our top resources that we utilize on our team. So we monitor these each day, and we want to, use them for our internal and then also for our clients as well. EIC and Meetings Mean Business, these are really just kind of broad umbrella organizations. So Brian's going to be tossing those links if you want to grab those quick and bookmark them if you don't already have them, if you haven't already researched these sites. On the next slide, we'll just do a screenshot of Events Industry Council or EIC. Sorry, this may be a little blurry for some, but again, go on the website and check it out. EIC, they partnered with Apex, so we love our acronyms. Accepted Practices Exchange Commission, and they did just a phenomenal job. I can't say enough good things about it. And you'll see right in the middle there, you've got you've got 12 bubbles, and on each one, I'd encourage you to go in and research them, and you can pull some just really good nuggets of information. On the next slide, it actually goes into the business continuity. So again, these, you might not be able to pick them off exactly each logo on the slide here, but it outlines all of the industry associations that are out there. So if it's for 10 people for a corporate group, or if it's for a one-day 5,000 person event, all the resources we feel that you would need, you'll be able to identify those here. On the next slide, it goes into MMB. So they have done a tremendous job, in our opinion, for getting us through this process in the pandemic. And one of the items, again, that I shared, we look at internally on a daily basis and monitor for our clients is the reopening tracker. So if you haven't been there, go in and take a look, and you can see by state what the max capacities are for gatherings. We've seen some really, really positive news in Las Vegas, and they've outlined a plan to get back to reopening. It has a link in there to the executive orders too. So that's really kind of where you need to dig in and do some research. That's where the fun begins in reading executive orders. speak for probably many of us. Those have been interesting to read throughout the pandemic. So on the next slide is what Meetings Mean Business has rolled out, and it's Meet Safe. So this is an organized repository for face-to-face meetings from our events community. So within this website, you'll be able to go in and learn from others, whether it's corporate or association or just one-day events. On the left-hand side, you can filter it. So you can take a look at, identify what events have taken place in different months in 2020, or even now in 2021. You can identify what size to try and find a like group for what you're planning. And then also at the bottom, you can just kind of click through and go through each one. What I just really appreciate about Meetings Mean Business putting this together is that it's formatted and it's all very organized and well done. So again, use this as a resource. So I'd like to transition this back over to Allison to really kind of do some closing for us, please.
Yeah, so in summary, we covered the known and the evolving procedures of planning a meeting in 2020. We touched on the way to simplify and streamline the process with an events playbook and attendee care committee. And we shared some great resources for you to utilize and bring back to your team. We just want to emphasize we're all learning from each other, and we're really looking forward to connecting with you all in the breakouts later this afternoon. And then if you want to connect with us, Brian's going to share our contact information, and NHS's is on the screen. And then we just want to thank again Ateema for putting this event together and for asking us to speak. And we also want to thank all our fellow sponsors who we're looking forward to hearing from this afternoon. Thanks, everyone.
And thank you so much. Thank you so much, Matt and Misty. Or sorry, Matt and Allison. I'm getting way ahead of myself. And now we're going to see if our Zoom prayers have been answered. And we'd like to welcome back from Garrett Brands, Jack Aiello and Misty.
Tad, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Tim and Dylan, thank you very much for the invite to be sponsors. We love your organization. We love all the meeting planners and all the event planners that are on the call. So thanks very much. Hopefully for the people that registered early, you're enjoying the Garrett popcorn and maybe on to the Frango mints already. But for those of you who are unfamiliar with Garrett Brands, I am here with my colleague Misty, and we can tell you that the brand has been around for over 70 years now. It was actually born in Chicago in 1949 when it was purchased by the Chody family in 2005. There was 4 shops in the city of Chicago. The Garrett family did a great job at establishing the brand as an iconic snack brand that was loved by tourists and visited by hotel guests all over Chicago. We have since taken the brand to 10 different countries. We have over 53 shops now, so we're super proud of it. And we want to introduce to you a couple of new product lines that were actually a result of COVID. I'm going to show you a quick video that's going to tell you what we're all about here in Chicago and around the world. But then we're going to introduce a couple of new product lines to you. Dylan, can you run the video for us, please?
Brittany's following her nose to your favorite salty sweet snack.
Your nose is gonna lead you to it and you're gonna buy a jumbo bag.
But first, if you've ever taken a stroll down Michigan Avenue, you've sniffed our next spot from a block away.
When you're walking down the street in Chicago and you can smell the caramel crisp from a block away, you know you're getting close to a true Chicago original. Since 1949, it's Garrett popcorn. It's been 250 episodes, and we're finally here at Garrett Popcorn.
We're so happy you're here, Brittany.
I'm so happy to be here. You guys may be all over the world now, but our viewer, Danasha, sent us an email and said they are a 20-year Marine veteran and always enjoyed coming home to Garrett Popcorn.
When I want popcorn, I come to Garrett's.
We're just so pleased to be in other people's households because we love having people in our house.
Every time I come into the city, I have to have my Garrett's.
Let's talk a little bit about what we're gonna make today.
You are making the quintessential Garrett mix, which is 2 components, our legendary caramel crisp recipe and our legendary cheese corn recipe.
You've got the caramel, you've got the cheese, but I hear that everyone kind of has their own way that they want to eat it.
I love the savory component of our cheese corn, so I'm about 3 cheese corn kernels to 1 caramel crisp kernel when I'm having a beautiful glass of white wine.
I never thought to pairing my popcorn with wine, but that's how I'm gonna do it.
Please, come over to my house anytime.
I'm in. Every single bag of Garrett popcorn is made on site in small batches. So today, Master Popcorn Popper, Colin, is gonna show me how to make the famous caramel crisp.
Let's start with the first step. We have some kernels. It goes right there.
You've got some height on me.
The height
I
helps.
need you to boost me up. Every kernel of the classic Garrett mix is hot air popped, so there's no oil necessary. And just for me, Colin's already got our caramel working. All I've got to do is follow my nose. This smells so good.
There's that for you.
Look at this.
The nice thing is you can smell the caramel crisp from a block or 2 away. Your nose is going to lead you to it, and you're going to buy a jumbo bag or a tin.
Speaking of which, I'm going to let Colin finish up while I head out front and meet Alyssa to learn how to make the famous Garrett mix.
We always start off with our cheese corn first.
All right.
Yes, and you want to do a heaping of caramel crisp.
Heaping of caramel, I can do that.
The cheese corn is at the bottom because it's the lightest, so when we shake it, it's going to mix evenly. You're going to go up and down. You got to flick your wrist. Yep. Oh.
I may not be any good mixing, but you know your girl can eat. The time is finally here. And now,
cheers.
Cheers.
To the Garrett mix.
To the Garrett mix.
Remember your ratio.
3 to 1.
Or just keep eating
That's
it.
my favorite. And the popcorn is so fresh.
Yeah.
And then the cheese is a little softer, and then when you mix it with the caramel, you get that good crunch.
Yep. I eat a lot, and I still love it.
Well, all Chicagoans love Garrett popcorn. I love it. I can't wait to introduce my daughter to it and let her have her first Garrett experience. She's still a little young, but when she's ready, we're coming here.
Brittany hit up the Mag Mile for every Chicagoan's favorite popcorn mix at Garrett's.
The popcorn is so fresh. The sweet, the salty.
To the Garrett mix.
To the Garrett mix.
Thanks, Dylan. That was Megan Chody, our CEO's wife. Lance's wife, she loves her Garrett popcorn with a glass of white wine. I will drink it with rum, vodka, bourbon, whiskey, it doesn't matter. It goes with everything. So hopefully you guys are enjoying a little Garrett popcorn during the seminar here. I just wanted to show you that video to let you know how every batch of Garrett is made. Our cooks get in early in the morning, sometimes as early as 4 a.m. They cook fresh popcorn all day long and get served up in bags and served across the counter. But since COVID, we had to pivot a little bit, like our last presenter had talked about. And we came up with some snack bags that have been very, very successful for us. They're 2.2 ounce bags of just a single serving. It's what you would have received in your little package earlier this week. We sell them in quantities of 12 and 24 packs. Misty is on the other end of the phone line if you were to call and order. Misty, do you want to give a little bit more information on this product line, how well it's done for us?
So it's done great in every aspect that you can think of. It goes great if you're sending out a virtual kit for someone's happy hour. We can send it direct to your fulfillment center. It goes great for stocking stuffers. It's great for, I don't know if most of you know, this week is Random Acts of Kindness Week. And I sent them out along with some of our Frango, and there's actually someone on this meeting that is going to get one. Sorry, I ruined your surprise. But I mean, it's no matter how you think about them, they're perfect. They're sealed. The shelf life is a little bit longer because the bags are sealed, so they last about 30 days. We still recommend that you don't get them until closer to your event date or that date you're going to hand them out, but it tastes the exact same. It's made the exact same way that our regular Garrett is made. They're just, the bag is sealed, and so the shelf life is 30 days. They're absolutely perfect, and they're probably going to stick around for a while. And if you order them early, you would have known that they were originally called the parade bags. The reason they're called parade bags is because we've made them for years, but we only threw them out at the Magnificent Mile Parade. But we easily switched the name because people were really confused why it was a parade bag. We switched it to the snack bag, which makes a little more sense these days.
Good point, Misty. Thank you very much. Actually, great point on the freshness. The Garrett popcorn you receive in our shops should be consumed immediately or within, hours of when it's sold, depending on the weather. These snack packs, like Misty said, go for 30 days, and that's going to bring us to our next product line. We just introduced a retail line called our Simply Indulgent line that has a 6-month shelf life. Again, this is a result of COVID. We have been working on recipes and packaging for this for years now and really kicked it in a high gear. We were able to introduce these at a bunch of Benny's and grocery stores here in Chicago and branching out a little bit further from the Chicagoland area as we speak. But I'd like to display where the product's available, but there's just too many different grocery stores and point of sale. So if you log onto our website, I believe you'll find where that can be found. But some of these recipes are from our shops. We have a Simply Matcha recipe that comes from overseas in Asia. Some of our Southeast Asian shops came up with this recipe, and it's just fabulous. But s'mores is, I think, what everybody's saying is a favorite, but a three-way tie between Simply Cocoa, Simply Strawberry, and Simply Matcha. So thank you very much.
What I do is
Misty,
I actually
feel free.
take the strawberry and the s'mores and I put it into a giant Ziploc bag and I mix it up and I made my own Simply Garrett recipe. I mean, they're so much fun with them. The strawberry one is probably the most delicious thing I've ever had. Well, minus we used to have a white peppermint during the holiday that I beg every year for them to bring back, and I think they just ignore me. But besides that one, it's probably one of my all-time favorites. It is made with real strawberries, and it's just the most insane flavor you'll ever try. You got to go pick up a bag. I promise you, you'll love it. And if you don't like it, send it back to me. I'll eat it, I promise.
Great, Misty, thanks. Again, these are resealable bags, you guys, and they'll last up to 6 months. Next slide, Dylan. There we go. And this is definitely Misty. She heads up our sales department, which deals with B2B customers, event planners, meeting planners, different types of customers that, want to purchase tins for 10 people in an office or, 300 tins for lift master clients. It's a big part of our business. Again, Misty's on the other end of that phone line. She actually does an incredible job in that department. She's so busy through the holidays and all year long with these custom lid stickers and custom tin designs, but she can tell you much more about these things if you give her a buzz. I know her number is listed on this next slide, and we just want to say thank you for being friends of ours. Again, Frango Chocolates is a part of Garrett Brands that was purchased in 2017. We bought it from the Macy's family, which was basically part of Marshall Field. After Marshall Field sold it to Macy's, we had bought it from Macy's. So we own the recipes and we're rebranding it. Flavors are some of them are the same with what Macy's carries, but you'll find new flavors and different packaging now with Frango. And just some comments from our friends and clients around the country and around the world for that Misty, you want to handle the Garrett Brands slide?
So Garrett Brands is basically kind of us, Garrett Popcorn and Frango combined all into one. We can take orders for either or for both. It's totally up to you guys. Easiest way is to just send a simple email to b2b@garrettbrands.com. And I'm that crazy person that will probably answer your email A, right away, or B, at 3 in the morning.
Thanks, Misty. All right. Thanks, everybody, for your time. Tim and Dylan, thanks again for everything you guys do for our brands. We really enjoy being a part of this, and looking forward to the rest of the event.
Thank you, guys. Great job.
Guys.